Guys, in this video we'll be going over how to add error boundaries to your React app. Well, if you don't know what error boundaries are, they're simply stuff that will stop errors from showing up on your web application when your application breaks. So if you're familiar with React, you know that when there's a missing key or a value is null and it's trying to read it, or there's an undefined, it tends to break and show a lot of code on the screen. So to prevent that from happening, we can use error boundaries for that. So if you still want to read more about error boundaries, you can go to this page. I'll add the link to the description. Here you can get a better understanding of what they are. So to get this going, let's create a new project. When that's completed, we'll cd into the folder and then open up the VS Code. After opening the VS Code, we need a new component called the error boundary. Error boundary, yeah, .jsx. So for this component, you can simply get the error boundary code from here. You can copy this here and go back to your VS Code, paste it. So import React from React, and this should be console.log. Okay. And to use this error boundary, simply wrap other components inside it. Use it to wrap your other components. So let's say we take this header out here, and then we import. So I copied the header. I did not just delete it. Boundary from /error boundary. Then we just create a wrapping here for it. Okay. So everything that goes between here will be caught by the error boundary. So I'm going to create another component here. Just call it a header. Call it a header. Takes props, and then it returns our header. Now we need this, so let's just say props dot. So let me call it image.logo, because I want an error, so I need it to be nested twice. So another thing we want here is import use state and use effect React. So const image set image equal to use state. So to start, we're going to use the logo as our image here, which will be passed down to the header component. So here you see props.image.asset. Let's use asset here. So props.image.asset will give us this header image. So with the use effect, we're going to take away that image. So it's going to run just once. So set timeout. Set timeout, let's say 5 seconds. So 5 seconds after the page is done loading, we're going to remove the image by setting it to null. So this should throw an error because this will become a null value and it will break the application. But with the use of error boundary, we should be able to catch the error. So header takes image as image. Let's save this and see if we can make it work. So yarn start. So now there's an error. Okay, so we didn't export the error boundary. There's an error in our error boundary. Export here. Export default error boundary. Save. Now we have this guy here. So after 5 seconds, let's see what happens. You see, it flashed something went wrong, and then it gave us the whole error that we're trying to avoid. So normally the only thing we want to see is something went wrong, which is our custom error component. So if you have some error page you want to implement, you can put all the data here. But it flashed this message and then moved to this page, which we're trying to avoid. The reason for this is because we're still in development mode. If we were in production mode, then it will only say something went wrong. So now let's switch our application into production mode to see if we can solve that problem. So Control C. Okay, so we have a use effect that's not in use, app.js. Use state. Oh, this should be use effect, not use state. This place here. So first thing I want to do is build our application. So I'm going to build it. I'm going to build it for production. So when the build is complete, you see these two messages here. This is how you're going to run your production version. So if you do not have Serve globally installed on your PC, then run this command first. But I already have Serve installed, so I'm just going to move straight to this one. So I'm going to run serve s build. So run serve s build. So it says serving on localhost 5000. So I'm going to switch to localhost 5000. Okay, now let's wait 5 seconds. Okay, so now you see we have something went wrong here and it doesn't switch to that error page.